Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my review of the Astro Ninja Steel Megazord. So this is the second in these weird auxiliary Zord repaint hybrids. So basically this is the main event. This is the new Zord. It's an auxiliary. It can combine with your regular Ninja Steel Megazord or the Rumble Tusk. But this is the main event and everything else is just a repaint of the Ninja Steel Megazord. I've kind of went over this and ranted about it, and I'll try to keep that to a minimum this one, but it's just a weird way of going about it. Instead of being able to buy these individually, you have to buy these with the repaint. So let's go ahead and just get the rejects out of the way. And I don't even mind this idea so much, and this color scheme actually isn't terrible. And this kind of will go towards my thoughts on the overall thing, but I kind of wish they had changed the color of the gray a little bit, not to be so boring. But yeah, here's the dragon, who just like with Rumble Tusk looks a little bit weird without the wings or anything, but yeah, it's not an overall terrible color scheme. You can move his little arms a little bit, and he can like flail around about the fact that he doesn't have arms. Then you got the little dog here, which I think these end up being the most basic. I mean, to be fair, the dog, the Kodiak Zord ends up being the most basic in the Ninja Steel Megazord. But in these, it's just really like they just slathered him in paint, and he's got like two other colors, which are for his eyes, his tail, and then the little silver here. And I do really like the adorable size of this, but yeah, this one especially is really basic and feels like the cheapest repaint in my opinion. And then you got, you know, the Nitro Zord repaint, which is just this Uggo truck, but I have to say though, this is probably my favorite version. I think that it has a kind of a very alien look to it with the blue, which is the point, because, you know, UFOs. But with this little bit here looking like an eye, and with the silver, it does have a little bit more of an alien look to it. So if I had to pick a favorite out of the three we had between the main one, Rumble Tusk, and this, it's probably this. It's still pretty much the weakest of the bunch though. Just overall. And then you got the train here, which also looks pretty basic. I mean, like I said, the idea behind these I don't mind, and you're gonna need to do that anyway, so boom, skipped a step. You just attach it via these. But I didn't mean to pop that off. I was gonna say, I think I mentioned this in Rumble Tusk, but I would even like this idea better if they not only repainted them, but just like slightly remolded them so that they, you know, had something even more different about them and something of significance to get you to want to buy it. Alright, but so here's the main event in its UFO mode, and it looks pretty cool. I have to say, I'll get the Japanese version for comparison in here in a minute, but I think it looks pretty sleek. I think they did a pretty solid job on it. It's got most of the details you want on it. So yeah, I really don't have too many problems with it. I think it looks pretty good. Definitely the best of the bunch since it is new. Let me snap that in a little bit more. That's pretty good, I think it's even. Okay, so here's UFO Maru. So honestly, for me, the differences aren't that bad on a look level. In fact, it might be a bit controversial, but I think I actually prefer the US version a little bit in this mode, just because I think it looks a little bit sleeker, obviously because its Power Star thing, this one isn't even really a regular Power Star that you can put in the Morpher, but its Power Star Ninja is actually, you know, it has sounds on it. So you got that whole bit since they did that, and obviously there's some like color differences. This is darker here, little bits of details here and there, but I do kind of prefer this just in this mode because I think it looks sleeker. But yeah, there is your difference. Okay, to transform him into his little robot mode, it's pretty simple. I'm gonna take this off, and this as well. This whole piece right here is like it's like a back piece almost, and then you just fold these around to become legs. Let me just get it so it's like getting in the way of itself. There we go. So he's got really weird giant feet, and these come up, and then this you're gonna snap on so that this basically cradles his head. You can also just have it like this if you want, but this is how you're supposed to do it. And you can store this back here. You can do the same with the Ninja, but it'll fall over. But because this is so sleek, you can store that back there. And there you have his little robot mode. And I have always liked these little robot modes. I really did like the uniqueness of the Ninja mecha for having a little animal or UFO mode or whatever, and then a little robot mode, which is part of the reason it's weird to me that they felt the need to give you incentive to buy the auxiliaries by making it a whole Megazord, because they really could have amped up that these are like mini Megazords, they're like mini little robots, and if they really would have made them a little bit bigger, a little bit better, they could have, you know, really just played it up. And I think that, thinking in the mind of a kid, I think kids would want to buy basically a little mini Megazord where you have UFO to robot, elephant to robot, shark surfer board to robot, dinosaur to robot, whatever, than just you know, oh, and here's a beetle with a cheap figure riding on top of it. And something I want to note before we do a comparison is that this guy's head does move side to side, which is a really small thing, but I just appreciate it. So like if you're displaying him like this, he can get a little bit of personality, and so yeah, I just appreciate that because I don't think the Japanese version does that. So, all right, now I got to transform our little UFO Maru buddy, and then we'll show a comparison of those. Each other. And as you can see, there are some differences. I think the silver gray that was used on here definitely looks a little bit better. Oh, excuse me, sorry about that. I knocked the Ninja Steel Megazord. But I do prefer that this doesn't cradle its head so much and gives it kind of room to, like, you know, have more personality, whereas this feels so suffocated. And like I said, you can put the this is an Ottoman, the shuriken on the back, but it will like fall over, so that's why I didn't do it. So it's just kind of, you know, on its own now. But yeah, I do prefer that, and obviously you can see the gold there, which you're only seeing on this side here. Little things like that, some little details. And like the transformation's a bit different. Like, for example, his head folds back and this piece will fold so you can make it all even and stuff like that. But yeah, there is a difference. I'd say maybe a little more significant than Pound Maru's, but yeah, there's that. So I'm not going to, because it's so minor, I'm not going to show the comparison with the full-on Megazord modes. If you want to see that more in the future for I think the remaining two that will probably be like this, then just, you know, let me know. Okay, so to transform it, it's going to be pretty simple. So we'll take this and we'll just set him aside. So take this piece off here. So this is going to be the main base. Get the legs on there. And the ports on this one are unusually tough for some reason. Like when I was getting ready to yank these off, it was actually kind of difficult. So, whoops. There you go with that. I feel like those are on the wrong side for some reason, but also not. Anyway, that was weird. So, and then this is going to be the arm. You don't get a red equivalent. So you got that. The dragon, also super simple. You basically just already have him in there. It's really weird because he's like a full-on animal, but you basically just attach him there and hardly have to do anything to make him different. And then the dog, you just fold his head up and stick him right in here. So just, you're used to this if you already have it. And then to fold this down. Okay, so take this off, take this piece off, and then you just set him in here as you would Pound Maru or Rumble Tusk or Redbot. Not Redbot, and he snaps in there. Give him the little controls. Whoops, no, come back, hand. No, well, looks like you're not getting it. So yeah, you would put both on there if you weren't impatient like me. This is going to be the weapon, so just snaps in right here. Oops, that little panel fell off. I'm actually gonna leave that off if you guys don't mind. And then this is going to become the helmet, or the head mask. Okay, and there you have it. So basically, you're getting the same gist you would if you combined just the UFO Astro Zord with Ninja Steel Megazord, but you have a whole Megazord based around its color scheme, and it actually looks fine. Like, I kind of like the look of it. I think the sort of silver and blue alien look does work for it, and I don't mind it. And as I said in the previous review, even though I definitely think that this would make it more of a unique purchase if they just slightly remolded the individual Zords to make them more different. There's also a part of me that does dig this release just because I think it's kind of fun and interesting to see these what-ifs. Like what if in the Ninja or this, when they transformed, it just all of a sudden coded the Zords like this? It would be cool if they found a way in the US to make original footage to do that. So it is kind of neat, and I do kind of dig the design, but it definitely bothers me, you know, the way they released it for most people. It's too expensive if you just want the auxiliaries and not only have to buy a full-on Megazord for it, but if you don't want, you know, non-show repaints, then you're just left with like 4 Zords with nothing to do with them. So I'm just going to go ahead and combine it with regular Ninja Steel now. You're basically just going to take these out and use them in the regular Ninja Steel Megazord. And so let me get him out of here, and then the Ninja Steel Megazord that was over here that I kept bumping into. So, okay, for this, I made the mistake in Rumble Tusk, but you move Redbot over here, and he becomes the arm, or not Redbot, whatever. And then Yellow's will go on the back, and it fell off. It was on the back. And his little panel also fell off because that thing is flimsy. But that is what you do there. I kind of made the mistake in Rumble Tusk, I just said that, but mainly for 2 reasons. I'm not trying to make excuses, but it does seem kind of ridiculous. Like, I find it to be kind of needless when you could just take Red and put him on the back. and especially since these repaints just use yellow. Yellow's equivalent as the arm, so I just honestly wasn't thinking about it. But anyway, like I said, not trying to make excuses, but I was just, when people pointed that out to me, I totally forgot about it, and then I was just thinking about how pointless it is. Like I said, you should just be able to put red on the back, and for me, I guess it doesn't really make as much of a difference when it's all one color, but even in the show, it doesn't make that big of a difference to me. Whether you have yellow or red as the arm, like it's really kind of stupid. So I'm gonna give it to blue because that one's being a pain, and I have no patience. Patience is for wimps. All right. And here we have that. So that is the actual formation of what you will see in the show, which looks totally fine. So that's what you're gonna be getting show accurate wise. So yeah, overall, these are hard ones to recommend because it's a weird purchase. As far as just the individual Zord of this guy goes, they're definitely a bit of a downgrade from the Japanese version, but I think they're overall acceptable. And if they released on their own, I think they would be fine, and that's the way I think they should be. But I can't really wholeheartedly recommend it if you just want the auxiliary Zord. But if you're like me and you want the auxiliary Zord and you're kind of into repaints, it's not that bad of a purchase. But yeah, they definitely shouldn't be releasing them this way. And I'm still holding out hope that either this holiday season or Super Ninja Steels or whatever, Ninja Super Steel, I forget which one it's going to be called, as holiday season near the end of the show, we get like a 3-pack of the main ones, or 4 if they do Dino, where you can just buy them individually. But anyway, that's about it. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It's Awesome Rider, signing out.